Hi.
That kick drum did sound good. I'm telling you.
No, there's no possible way that kick drum sounded good at all.
Folks, we are here on the Tuesday edition of the Could Be Better podcast.
Tuesday Night Fights.
Yeah, TNF.
Yeah, that's what
you were trying to make it into a sexual thing.
Yeah, but I decided against it.
No, and we can't, because this podcast, actually, we have to kind of keep it clean for all of our listeners for several reasons.
That's true.
This podcast is not, is it? It is breaking news. We have the privilege to announce that our guest for this special episode is Maura Parrott.
Parrott.
I don't think it's Perot. Actually, you know what? It could be Perot.
I think when I made the Ross Perot joke, things went off the rails.
Yeah, I saw her put something in your drink then, and I realized this probably isn't a good time for you. And then you left early, so I was like, maybe. But Maura from Frederick Arts Council, SkyStage extraordinaire, she came on and talked to us a lot about what's coming up with SkyStage, at least what's coming on through May and June. How to get there, the exciting things that are coming on the pipe, and it was
coming
a good time.
On the pipe or down the pipe? And is it pike or pipe?
I don't know.
Well,
I think I could. When I go to Starbucks, I ask for a pipe place coffee, and that's what they give me.
I don't even know what Starbucks is.
Yeah, because you don't like coffee.
I don't like coffee, so we don't have the entire. This should be said. We don't have the entire schedule for the SkyStage summer because it's a work in progress, correct?
Yeah, and to be honest, what a relief that is. If you and I were having to book something and have to plan for rain delays.
Well, we might have to.
Well, listeners will have to find out.
Yeah.
But to book more than just one event.
Oh, we might have to. It might be... Could Be Better stage.
Listen, the Could Be Better stage would just be like a mattress that the drum sits on, and then that's it. It'd be fine. Might be this mattress.
Like that kick drum.
Guys, inside jokes are funny.
But
it's only parts and pieces that are kind of being announced now. And so in the show notes, which obviously listeners, friends, lovers of the show know that's where they click to look on all their stuff.
Right.
But the link for the SkyStage calendar is in the show notes. So please check that out. There are things to be added. There are things to be modified. There are things to be edited. It's going to be great.
Yeah. No. And with that said, Maura has done a good job with everything. I kind of feel like she got thrown into the fire with the SkyStage position, and she's done I say this is with a few different hats on, but the most of which being I've been in bands that she has booked, and she has been great to work with, right? You've been too.
Oh, she's the best. I think it was when we had a friend of the show, Frederick Legend, whatever, Asa Weeks was
Frederick
on.
Legend.
was on.
He's 19 years old.
It's amazing. It's crazy what you can do when you try. Shout out to effort. But with when Asa came on, he's like, yeah, Maura from SkyStage. And it's like, oh, she's the best. And that's, anytime anybody does anything with Maura, that is the exact same response. She
brought snacks too.
Only guest that has brought snacks. I'm a little upset. Who's our next guest here? It's B. Obama. I don't know, whatever. So, hey, if you're listening, ma'am or sir, please bring snacks.
Yeah, we always have to feed our guests drinks, happiness.
Yeah, and that's not cheap.
That's not cheap at all. Love, time. It's hard.
Yeah,
it's really hard.
And we have a crew. We have it's you, me, it's Genevieve. We've got AV. It's like we got people to feed.
Yeah, these people do not come cheap.
Yeah, and you know who does feed? Maura. She brought us snacks.
I know. Did you have a snack, by the way?
You know what's amazing?
I left.
So she is, and this is great because, and I know the listeners really care about what kind of snacks these are, but I'm going to go into intricate detail on
Let's do it.
what
so
it is.
Did you eat the avocado?
Oh, dude. So it gets better. So she goes, hey, Chris, so we didn't really get to eat snacks. And, I thought people were going to be cleaning up at SkyStage, so I got a bunch. So she gives me 4 avocado packs. She gives me 4 hummus packs.
My goodness.
And then she's like, I don't know how we can give you the pita bread. And I don't know how you can get it home. And she's like, maybe I have a plastic bag. And she goes, oh, I'm a mom. Of course I have a plastic bag. And so she reaches in her bag, empties out this one plastic bag, and puts some mini pita bites in there for it. And I ate some pita and hummus and avocado on the way home. It was great.
That's amazing. I had a bottle of water. I was only given a bottle of water because I was the only person sitting in direct sunlight, and everybody thought that I would get sunburned.
But you were also wearing a suit jacket and a button-up, so I think I was also concerned for your safety.
When I got home, my clothes weighed 428 pounds.
It's funny that I saw you drink a bottle of water because I don't think I've ever seen you drink a bottle of water before.
You know what, though? And I will expose myself here. You see, when we record this with everybody, there's a sort of routine where you go down, and I always have my jug of wine.
Sure.
And
jug or very obnoxiously large bottle.
Yes. And there's sort of just that. It's a tick type thing. You reach for it. You go have something. When I was drinking the bottle of water, because obviously we weren't going to have wine when we were sitting in this fabulous courtyard, it felt like the same thing. It's like the same thing. And I realized that long ago about me, because I used to remember this, employers used to only write when I drink. I could only drink and write at the same time.
Oh.
Then one day I realized if I just had a glass of water instead of a beer, I could still do the same thing. And then that turned into tea. And now I just drink tea and write.
Huh. Well, that's a healthy swap.
Who says I'm unhealthy?
Yeah. Well, listener from bbrownie456 at AOL.com who emailed us this week, she was very upset with your healthy choices with like Taco Bell and stuff. It was crazy.
I have we should also say that we just tried a novelty drink before we recorded this.
Can you still smell it on your breath?
Kind of. It was good.
It was very good. It was the Jameson Orange.
The Jameson Orange. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, and I'm surprised. So it was only a shot, and I think it was in the last 5 years. If I have more than just like a shot of Irish whiskey, I get a really bad migraine.
Oh.
So I'm glad. I feel great so far.
So far, it's only been 10 minutes. I want to say this as we wrap this intro up. I think, and Chris, disagree with me if you'd like, at this point, there are two sort of institutions in Frederick where the schedule announcement is a thing. And I think one, of course, is the Weinberg.
Sure.
And hopefully when he wants to do that in August or July, whenever they do it, maybe we can have John Healy on. I'd love to do that. The second, of course, I think now is SkyStage. I think SkyStage has worked their way up to that place. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, where I thought you were going is, I mean, it's they're bucket list places for bands.
That's true.
I mean, if you're in Frederick, those are the kind of goals you kind of set. And, growing up for me, it was like, oh, I want to pack out NOLA. It's like, okay, cool. Like, did a couple of those, and that was a good time. And then it's like, okay, well, where's next? And like, where's the next spot? It's like, and we did SkyStage, and we packed out SkyStage because it's also kind of like the size of NOLA, but outside. And then, and then it's like, you're trying to find that next place and that next place. And the Weinberg, it was always on my list that we never got to do it. But SkyStage is just a special experience, and any band that goes to a show there's a vibe. And credit to Maura, credit to her team, credit to the Frederick Arts Council for really just working with a local artist, as we find out in the interview, for kind of capturing this vision and almost kind of like lightning in a bottle a little bit of something special. And so I'm so excited that she came on the podcast. I think she might have done maybe one of these, but I feel like she said we were her first, so I'm honored.
Which is it?
I don't know. She can lie to me all she wants. That's fine. But yeah, so honored we get to talk about the schedule. It was a great interview. Had a good time.
There's a lot of cool stuff coming up too. They have a lot of good stuff coming through, and not all of it is music, as we talked about. Probably I'd say at least half of the summer is going to be not music. So there's a lot of stuff to check out there. They've done a great job. The Jazz Festival people have done a great job bringing jazz in. There's going to be a reggae night, I guess.
Yeah. And there's a weekly drum circle or like a monthly drum circle.
And an open mic every week too from Fame. Yeah.
And it's so cool that someone curates this. And Maura, maybe she said on the podcast, or maybe it was just in between takes, but Maura's like, oh, Chris, like I could probably be your mom. And it's like, Maura is,
because she said something about my age, because we make fun of my age
just every once in a while. That's an easy target. But it's like, she is so well versed in what's coming down the pipe pike coming in the pipe. Look at this, guys. We're back full circle. But she like some of the stuff that she's like, oh yeah, this is really cool. And she would explain to me why she likes something. I'm like, man, that's exactly how I would do it. Like, she's just so in tune. So she's a gem. She's a treasure. Frederick Arts Council. You have a wonder on your hands, and Frederick is changed because of what she gets to do. So this is our interview with Maura from SkyStage.
Hi, we're in a bee's nest.
And we're on location. Where are we, Maura?
We're in a little, what do you call this? Atrium garden behind
Beehive.
what were New Spire Arts and Frederick Arts Council offices, a little bit in transition at the moment, but it's a lovely little courtyard on a lovely day.
Yes, and we are here on location, first time ever. So if it sounds weird, it's not at the Could Be Better studio.
No, it's not. It's in a beehive.
It smells better.
It does smell like that. I take exception to that.
Sorry.
Then, but we're here with Maura Parrott, not related to Ross Perot.
Yeah. I always say parrot like the bird, 2 T's. But not related to a candidate from Maryland.
Yes. And we are here for some exciting stuff. So one of the cool, best kept secrets that's not really a secret anymore is SkyStage. I came across SkyStage. You'll have to correct me when it actually showed up. But I remember it was within the last 5-6 years, I think. And I remember, there's this really cool building with no roof, with a cool sign, and they're doing really interesting things all the time. It's like, I want to get there and play. And so my first interaction with you was I hit you up about my band. And
Samuel Powers,
yes. And so what's so much fun was you were the most kind, and you were so quick to respond with things. It was like, this woman is my spirit animal. And it was amazing. So it's been kind of fun.
That was probably noob energy.
Which I appreciate, because so often it's, you send an email and it's out into the ether and you never hear back. So it was really cool. I think it took us at least a season and a half to get us to play, because I think there was a rain date. Because for people that don't know, SkyStage has no roof. There's no. There's no. It is. The sky is the stage.
We're trying to do something about that. Some grant money has been procured. But stay tuned.
What would that be? Would it just be sort of a tarp, or would it be? Would you build it into a building?
Pardon?
Would you build it into a building, or would it just be?
Well, there were original plans, and then there's what's doable. so we'll see. There might be an awning, but it probably won't happen this season, because that's a big project and has to happen in the off season.
I figured it wouldn't be like a football stadium where they have the dome that they like the retractable ceiling.
That's what I was hoping for.
I'd love that. If there are any listeners out there with $25 million, we would love to build a bubble like the Hirshhorn is going to do.
Yes.
Over SkyStage.
And it's Maura at skystage.com, right? That's how you can get in contact with her. But Maura, so it's for people that don't know you, that aren't even familiar with SkyStage, can you give us your quick elevator? Or not even quick. Why did I say quick?
I don't know.
Elevators.
It could have been better.
It could have been. Can you tell us a little bit about what you do, what the Frederick Arts Council is, and then what you really do with SkyStage?
Okay, the Frederick Arts Council, we like to think of it as like an incubator for the arts, but it's also sort of a home organization where all other little arts nonprofits and artists can, be a member, have home, submit their news, get the news. Louise Canelli, the executive director, would probably expand a lot on that, but that's what's coming to mind immediately. I got involved kind of accidentally. I have a background in art history and public art, and had seen SkyStage before it was where it is now. There was an initial plan from the artist Heather Clark on 2 facades on Market Street, just south of the creek, and the rest of the building was gone. It was just facades. And she was kind of collecting ideas at one point of what to do, and she had some preliminary designs for behind it, but the structures next door were not stable. And she had, I think in the meantime, already partnered with the Frederick Arts Council, and they did a little study of that site, and it wasn't going to work out. She was devastated, but she took a walk down the street, and she saw this shell, this 18th century building shell, and thought, what is that? And managed to track down the owner or something. She told this story at an awards dinner we had for her, and the owner of the property, Rusty Hauver of General Engineering Company next door, has been very generous. He leases it to the Arts Council, and is super supportive of us. And she tracked him down and told him about the project, and he was like, on the phone, and he was like, I don't know what you're talking about, but why don't you come up here and we'll meet and we'll talk. And so, the rest is kind of history. But she built it with a team from MIT, which is one of her alma maters.
Wow.
And it opened in September of 2016.
Okay.
And so last year was the 5-year anniversary, and I missed it. I missed the day. I forgot to announce it. But and there was a little pilot season for a couple months, and then it got cold, and then opened again like April through September, I think it was, in 2017. No, it was through October. And there was somebody before me who was an AmeriCorps volunteer who was the coordinator.
Okay.
And then her AmeriCorps stint ended in like August, and I'd been volunteering heavily on it, so I kind of took the reins from there.
That's great. And for people again that don't know, maybe we'll put a link in the show notes for the SkyStage website. But the really cool thing that kind of appeals to not the lights, not the space, not the cool kind of Coliseum seating almost, but there's a what is it called, like a living sculpture that's weaved through and it's just it's a beautiful thing to see, and you almost don't even notice it at first, and then you walk in and you're like, oh my gosh, this is beautiful. Yeah,
living sculpture I think is exactly how the artist refers to it sometimes, and sometimes we call it the double helix or the living river. And so you're kind of in nature and in a space, and so we partnered a lot with a lot of community arts organizations to present programming, and it's like initially they were asking the public to submit ideas and everything, and now we've got a lot of returning series from those relationships that developed over the years, and it's pretty booked, but every year there might be one series that stops or a new one that comes along. So we've got like 8 or 9, which is about as many as we can fill, and then have some open dates for one-off things, private events, shows. And then it sort of evolved into, the first season and a half or so, we had Jake Warrenfels, who people might know.
Yes.
He was in Crooks and Crows. I think they've disbanded, sadly, but...
I think he moved.
He
moved to someplace...
maybe Virginia?
Yes, that sounds about right.
Yeah, and he had helped with a lot of the music at Artomatic, which was for 6 weeks in the building that's now the Y on Church Street. That was the second Artomatic they had in there. And so a lot of those people kind of came over and were the initial kind of SkyStage committee.
Sure.
And Heather at Artomatic spoke about the project. So Jake was booking all the music for sort of nights that were designated as like concert nights.
Sure.
And we get lots of submissions for that too. And there's a place on the website that bands can submit, and sometimes someone will come in and do a whole lineup, and sometimes it's us just vetting groups and plugging them in there. So yeah, we've got a pretty full schedule of everything.
And speaking of schedule, so it starts really when the weather's warm. So right now we are recording this end of April, and we'll announce this probably. This might be a special edition episode, like a breaking news.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe we'll drop it today.
When do you really? Okay. When do you typically announce the scheduling? Because I know it's always a work in progress. At least from years past, it's not like in April what's going to happen in August all the time. How far ahead do you feel comfortable now currently?
Of announcing it?
No, I mean just like how many things do you have booked out? Are you comfortable for May and June? Are you comfortable?
Pretty comfortable for May and June. There's a couple of theater things that are a little in limbo on their exact dates, but they will happen in late May or early June, and one possible edition in June on a Sunday, but that's pretty much a lock. We can't. The listeners will note that I'm showing Colin and Chris calendar with scribbling all over it, and different color coded for different events. Yes. But yeah, we go through October, and we have opened in April before, and then it's just cold. Yeah. It would still be pretty cold. We've had these really cold days. Yeah. Yeah. And then it gets cold in October too, but it seems like we get pretty lucky. October weather's been pretty decent. So our first event, should I say?
No, let's hold off
still
real quick
talking about-
because we want to let's get to our first music break. We want people to keep listening. If they'll hear you and then they'll just tune out after you break the news. So we've got to save it.
Yes.
Okay.
Our sponsors, we're contractually obligated. We have no sponsors.
We have all the sponsors, actually.
SkyStage is now an official sponsor.
Be a sponsor, because we'll get to that.
Yes.
So what song would you like to hear first as we come up on the first music break?
I hadn't thought about the order. I think, just because this is a little special. This is a band from Brooklyn, and we don't do touring bands very often because of weather. They can't get a rain date, and a couple times it's worked out great. Most of the time it doesn't. But it's a band from Brooklyn, but one of the members is from Frederick, and so I found out about him through somebody I went to high school with who did some work with the Arts Council, and so I said, we'll have them submit on the Google form, and we checked them out, and it was very cool, and they're called Lunch Weather. But the song file that I have is, I can't remember the title, is by two of the guys from Lunch Weather, and
I have it here. It's Hidden Interest.
Cool.
Hidden Interests. Sorry, is the name of the song, and it looks like it's from their EP.
Max Stratner.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's from their EP. Our Skies Are Not the Same. So this is. Oh, so it used to be Lunch Weather, and now it's called Max Stratner and Devlin Tenney.
No, they're those Devlin Tenney and Max are two members of Lunch Weather.
Oh, okay.
So
Cool.
and Lunch Weather will be playing.
Yes.
Should I not say it yet?
No.
No, you could say
August 6th.
August 6th.
Because they will be on a little tour. So they'll be here from Brooklyn. So since that's a little special, they're not from the region, except for Max's. I would start with that one.
Doesn't matter where my body's at, but I'm always living through another day. And I'm curious as to if your absent-mindedness means that you turn your head away from all of these violent expectations that you refuse to set. And I apologize if I seem elsewhere. It's only that my mind is fixed on hidden interests, hidden moments, hidden music, songs that you and I won't ever hear. And now the clouds have finally set in, and the snow is starting to stick. And I remind myself things will be alright when it melts tomorrow morning. Sometimes I'm reminded how the power of proximity can elude us. And I apologize if I seem elsewhere. It's only that my mind is fixed on hidden interests, hidden moments, hidden music, songs that you and I won't ever hear.
That was an amazing song, wasn't it, Maura?
I like it. It is very chill, and they're kind of of course, this song's definitely sort of indie folk, and the band is kind of indie folk, but also a little bit. Logan Waters, our sound guy, listened to it, and they reminded him of Steely Dan a little bit. So with the full band, there'll be some other flavors.
There you go. So we're excited to have them on. We're gonna. I think we should. We'll make this decision on the fly. I think we should hold off on the schedule until the last segment. What do you think of that? After the second,
I think so too, because we want to hear what I mean. We want people to hear the music.
Yeah. So I want to segue from this amazing song we just heard. We all grooved to it together. We grabbed hands. We danced. It was a
party.
Lot of fun.
The bees actually buzzed in unison.
Bees,
it was on key. It was beautiful. But again, August 6th, they are at SkyStage.
At SkyStage, yeah.
And
with should I say who the playing?
Sure,
yeah.
sure.
Also, Ethan Larsh and his band will be with them, and possibly one other opener.
Cool.
I might try and get some feminine energy in there.
Yeah. We booked Ethan at Old Mother, I guess, a couple months ago, and his band was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've brought this up a couple times, the feminine energy in playing around town, because I like some of my favorite music ever it comes from female artists, and I'm a big fanboy for a lot more female artists than I am male artists. Do you find it, because I feel like when we book and you book for SkyStage, we have this silly little could be better thing. We have a hard time finding local female artists who are out there to play original music. Do you have that problem too?
A little bit, and it might be a lot of the music that I gear toward, or that I find that I enjoy, does tend to be kind of indie alternative thing, and it's a lot of dudes, but it's good, you know. So a little bit, but we also try and try and kind of cover lots of genres, try to, maybe have a blues night, try to have a, Seven Arts Archives is going to do some reggae in September, and another teaser. So we try and kind of, mix it up, not have two of the, like very similar genres, two concerts in a row. And you probably have this booking your shows. It's very fulfilling, and it's really exciting when you're going to have a great lineup, but it's also like kind of hair pulling and
absolutely
and anxiety provoking, and you want them to be a good fit, and so is not available, and so it's like one of the more challenging but also fulfilling things is booking the music nights and trying to get that variety, and female artists. If you're out there, give me a call.
Give us a call too.
Please reach out to us, and we'll put everybody on the email thread.
We need you on stage.
Yes.
So I've got an idea for that one, but
can you talk a little bit about some of the hurdles you run into in general booking music? SkyStage is such a destination place to play in town, so I imagine you get a lot of emails from a lot of different artists saying we'd like to play it, and then you go, that works itself out. But I'm sure you also have ideas and visions for nights you want to do. And have you what's sort of the biggest hurdle? What are the biggest things in front of you booking SkyStage?
Our capacity's not huge, so
what is it?
It's about officially it's like 136.
Okay.
But the bleachers hold, maybe 85, 90 pretty tight, and feet share with butts on those bleachers. And we can't completely block the stairs because that's dangerous. So, but we'll put up extra chairs sometimes. And so like 110 max, and maybe a few people standing if they don't mind. On a sold out thing. We might have had 120 at ASA Weeks.
Friend of the podcast.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
He's ASA. Every time we bring up ASA, we always have a sidebar, but I think he deserves a sidebar. That guy hustles. I mean, he knows how to set up a show. He knows how to curate an event. And I think at the end of the day, he really just gets to showcase an experience. Like anytime that anybody goes to any ASA show, they always come away with, that that wasn't what I was expecting.
He's very young too.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's
Yeah,
so nice.
so-
He's like the nicest guy I've ever met, except for from Colin.
That's right. I'm notorious for being nice. I don't know if you knew that, but no, he's great. And there was also too. I think I had heard this. You can confirm since this is you're behind all of this. The Frederick Jazz Festival did they did it last year with you guys, I think, and I was told it sold out, or you had a good crowd.
Pretty much, yeah. We had rain on one, and we kind of like we were trying, and then we kind of had to bail. But luckily, you know, we had an opening the very next Saturday, so they had to switch the lineup a little bit because one of the larger bands couldn't make it. And you know, some people were able to come back. Some people we gave refunds to. But yeah, it was largely sold out, and I was surprised. It was a little higher price point too,
Yeah.
but they're getting you know, like a certain caliber of artist, and that going back to, because I do tend to veer off topic, what you asked me before about some of the challenges was hearing from a band that I think, you know, like, because our capacity is a little smaller and we kind of want to keep the ticket price reasonable so that we can reach the broadest audience. And, you know, Heather, the artist's kind of vision for the place was a lot of, you know, stuff for the community, free stuff, you know, and low ticket price. And we do have a lot of free things too. But so getting contacted by an artist and then checking them out and thinking, wow, they're really good. We can't afford them, or, you know, it's not really, or they're touring and it's not financially viable for them to stop here. So that's kind of tough. And sometimes I've gotten some international
Offers?
managers representing
Whoa.
people from South America and Scotland, and I have to say, contact the Weinberg Center or contact New Spire Arts, because, you know, this won't this won't be enough money for you.
Yeah.
And it could rain. But
That's what I was going to say. I would think is the biggest hurdle is the weather. You know, it's not necessarily finding people to play, but you could book 20 shows in a 2-month span, and maybe 15 of those just have bad luck with the weather.
And it's Maryland weather in the summer too. I mean, probably the people who do Alive at 5 get the same. And the storms tend to come through in the evening.
Yes.
Rush hour, you know, when the hot day meets whatever cool front. Yeah, we've spent a lot of days on like pins and needles, just on the weather apps, just looking at radar. It is a problem. Last year, we tried to not book so much the last month so that we could have rain dates. Sometimes we were doing just every other week, but usually the band can't come back the very next week for a rain date, you know. We had Eric Bird kind of opening the season last year, and that was a bit of a, you know, they're a bit above, you know, taking a cut at the door. So that was kind of a special event, and so I did, you know, like put on the schedule a rain date for them, and then luckily they didn't need it. So yeah.
Because it's interesting, you were mentioning like just the struggle before of, you know, you're booking everything, you're lining everybody up, you want everybody to have a good time, you want bands to mesh, you want it to kind of be a community-driven event, but then it's like, yes, there's all those variables, but then it's also the weather. And it's like, I don't know if I could do any of the booking stuff that we do if I had to deal with another variable. Like COVID has already been a variable that like I wasn't expecting to be so difficult. We just had a show beginning of April. In the Tuesday before the show on Friday, one of the bands got COVID and then we couldn't play. And so it's like, oh man, to juggle COVID, to juggle the bands, to juggle the venues, to juggle the dates, and then throw in the weather on top of it. It's like, people can't see it unless they're tuning into the live stream, but Maura has a cape on. You know, it's like it's a superhero level of just like organization. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, you know, and we have a team, and we've kind of got a routine of like we're ready with vinyl and tarps. Yeah. And throwing hefty bags over the speakers, because sometimes it's just going to be a little passing shower. Sometimes it's the Frederick Rock School acoustic. Jamie Salviati, they did a whole show in like light mist, you know, one night. So, and it's hard to have a strict rain policy either, because it's kind of really on a case by case basis. Yeah. What the weather's doing. Some bands say we want to try and power through, and some of them are like, we've got friends coming from Pennsylvania. We got to call it by 3:00. You know, so.
Well, speaking of friends, let's get to the second song, if
Okay.
you will. Which one would you like to hear next? I'm sure they're your friends, whoever they are.
Yes, I think it's Pompeii Graffiti. Well, we're email friends. I've been trying to book them for like 3 years. And I think there was a rain out. And then I had them booked for 2020, and we did a partial season in 2020. We were able to open because we're open air. But this happened with a few bands, Silent on Mountains too. They said, thanks so much, but we haven't been able to rehearse together. This was from lockdown and vaccines weren't out yet, and they just hadn't really been able to rehearse, so they kind of had to decline then. So I got in touch with them, and they're back doing live shows, and they just dropped a new album called Ocean Pines. And I don't know if you got my message, but I want they do a little classical prelude in front of every song on this album, which is unique. They have a cellist. A lot of them are classically trained musicians, and so they do what was called, I think on their Facebook page, it says confessional, self-deprecating, nerdy math rock.
Yes.
I just found them so appealing always. So it's Baltimore. Let's see. It's called. Oh, it's not. It's
I got it. It is called
something from Baltimore. Grown in Baltimore, I want to say.
It's almost there. We're getting there. It is.
I really should have written this down.
That's okay. I have the email draft saved. Guys, the power of technology is amazing sometimes. Let's see. All right. Good Luck in Baltimore.
That's it.
Is the name of the song, and this is by Pompeii Graffiti.
Nothing feels right. Tried to check into a hospital. All the beds were full. No dice this time of night. We've got no space for you. We'll show you to the door. Good luck in Baltimore. Kinda weird, but then
Song was so good. It is nerdy math rock.
Surprising though, isn't it?
Yeah.
To go from the sonata or concerto or
Yes.
to the kind of a banger.
Yes.
Speaking of bangers, we now come to the part of the show that everybody's tuned in for. We have hundreds of millions of people waiting to hear the reveal for at least the first couple months of SkyStage, I believe, in the schedule you have. So I'm sure these shows are all bangers, right, Maura?
That's what we're shooting for. That's what we try.
So let's hear about it. When does everything kick off? What's the big thing to begin the season in earnest?
Musically?
Yes.
That will be Friday, May 6th. Put it on your calendars, folks. It's Dead Horse Revival with our own Katie Powderly.
Friend of the
And I probably should have
Friend
brought one of her songs. And also have never played SkyStage before.
Oh.
We tried with Unconditional Lovers a couple times.
Yeah.
You know, it was like too short notice. She's touring a lot. She's in a couple of bands.
She's always busy.
So,
We tried to get her to come on the podcast. She's like, no, I have a date. No, I have a show. No, I have a thing. I'm like, hey, I love that you're busy, but like, I want her to come on the podcast.
I don't remember any of that.
Oh, you weren't there for it. It was a different conversation.
And, yeah, she works super hard and makes her own poster. There's a poster in the Art Center at 5 East 2nd Street, the Frederick Arts Council Art Center, for this show. So that is Friday. There's a community drum circle before that.
There
if
you
you want to
go.
hang.
Those are regular, right? You have the community.
Those are every first Friday.
Okay.
Yeah. So so this show, just so we can turn it over, we'll go like 8 to 10. And bring your ID because we have a bar.
Okay.
Please drink.
Yes.
Just beer and wine. Yeah, that does benefit the Arts Council and SkyStage.
And those who drink.
Exactly. Because some of us like a tipple. So.
Do you have anything on Saturday that weekend?
That Saturday, there's a daytime thing.
Okay.
Yeah, we have these Sky Pop artist markets on first Saturdays. So a lot of times then I was starting to not schedule Saturday night because it's tricky to turn over. The vendors might not get out till 5. But we are on a couple of occasions. And so May 7th, there is not now. Then on the 14th, every second Friday, I should also say, Frederick Acoustic Music Enterprise does an open mic, and it's free.
Fame.
Yeah.
With Todd.
Fame. Yeah.
There you go.
Todd and Sam and.
Are they on the 14th, you said?
They're on the 13th.
13th, okay.
The 14th is like an all-day rip-roaring 7 Arts Archives, which used to be Exploring Frederick's Underground, which is Don Ramirez and a couple of people.
Oh, I know about this.
They did a series of like 3 or 4 shows the first time around, and so this is they're doing a surf rock night.
Yes.
And by day, he partners a lot with the rock schools. So the daytime is a rock school benefit for the Martinsburg, West Virginia Let There Be Rock School, which is a nonprofit. And then the Frederick Let There Be Rock School, they join in on that too, and so it'll be a showcase of all the best rising talent.
Yes.
Is that the same series that did like the punk rock stuff last year? Was there a punk rock series?
They did a lot of punk.
Okay.
Yeah. Last year, it probably was. Yeah.
I think so.
I already can't remember last year. But and then he's doing another show in September that'll be like reggae
Okay, cool.
with a daytime acoustic cafe.
Nice.
But that's September. So then in May, the next weekend is a youth deaf and hearing theater. And actually, I've ended up with not as much live music concerts in May. I had something for the 28th, and it kind of fell through.
Uh-oh.
Bikes was going to play the 28th, but
Ricole be ducking.
Cole
Yeah,
had
I know.
a
He didn't want to
conflict.
get on the sticks either.
And so
0-1.
So they will be okay. So then
We're now into June.
we're into June already. The Festival of the Arts is on the Creek, June 11th and 12th. So that's a huge thing that the Arts Council puts on.
Are you going to have music for that?
Not this year. So the last couple of years, last year they didn't have stages, partly because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
But also there's like a company that does the festival that works with the Arts Council, and it's geared more fine art now. And so the music that will be happening at SkyStage on that Saturday night.
Cool.
So the festival vendors, they all kind of shut down at 5. And we've got, I'm so excited about this. So we've got Silent Old Mountains headlining.
Hey, there we go.
Frederick Legends.
Yeah.
It's a little
Frederick
close to
Legends.
their old mother show. But
Yeah, Andrew, what's that about?
but that's okay, because that's a different experience, and SkyStage is kind of a listening experience, even though we have booze. And the bands really like how they sound in SkyStage.
Oh,
I should add that.
It is a vibe.
Yeah. Just not having a roof, kind of helps with acoustics a little bit. Although ambient noise, yes, sometimes a siren. So, and Tallwell's going to open one of the opening band. Well,
Friend
one
of the show.
of the bands on that lineup. They were supposed to play October 29th at SkyStage. That was one of their first shows, and we had torrential rain, and we couldn't get. There was something going on at the art center. We couldn't move it indoors, and it was the end of the season and no rain date. So Tallwell's opening, and I've got a young indie artist named Molly Seeger from Philadelphia, who's going to do a little opening set. She kind of sounds like Phoebe Bridgers, so if you know that,
There you go.
I think it'll be good.
I love Phoebe Bridgers.
And that was kind of an accidental find too. A friend of a friend saying, oh, here's this artist, and she has 4 songs, and I'm like, wait, 4 songs? Okay, tell her to submit to the form, and we'll have a listen. And then I was like, dang, she's pretty good.
That's awesome.
I checked my language there. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
I was hoping you would cuss. Once you cuss, that opens the floodgates for us to cuss.
We are holding the line.
What you can't do, Colin, is make any jokes about your age, because I could be your mom. At least for Chris, I know.
Yeah, I'm probably my mom.
But maybe not Colin.
Thanks. See, everybody knows I'm old.
So
go ahead.
I'm mama. Like I was saying before, my son's friend plays in Flight Away that you've played here a couple of times. They're good buddies.
Yes.
So anyway, so that's going to be a great night, June 11th. Put it on your calendars. I will be throwing up an Eventbrite for that very soon. But we do sell tickets at the door as well. Then the 18th is Bikes, June 18th.
Shout out. Bikes on June 18th.
Yeah. With possibly, this is tentative.
Oh.
So if you're listening, please say yes. Millen, who played with Asa on October 30th last year. When Asa had a trio up.
Yeah.
And Millen is Millen Bat. It's MLLN, like all caps. And I think he's Millen Official on Instagram. Neo soul, R&B, poppy, nice voice. And then possibly, I don't know if I can announce that yet, but
I'll just lie if you have to.
there might be another member of Demood with a side project also joining that lineup.
Okay.
I'm
going to bet you it's
I don't want to
Tad.
get ahead of
I think-
myself here.
I-
This
I-
has all
I
gone
think it's
down
Tad.
pretty recently.
Yeah, it is.
Is that Tad? You think
he
it's
wants
Tad?
to come back on this podcast.
But we won't
to
let
talk
him
about it.
because he's really bad at NBA Jam.
That's true.
He's
he
really
loses a
bad at
lot.
NBA Jam. I
Yeah.
think I beat him without my eyes
yeah.
open.
Yeah, me too. But he wants to come on. He's going to play at Cafe Nola next week, I think, as we record this.
Oh, cool.
So
Wow.
Oh, I should say, just circle back quick. Pompeii Graffiti, I think, played at Cafe Nola several years ago.
It sounds familiar. I feel
Yeah.
like I've seen that name on a
But
flyer.
other than that, I don't think they play in Frederick really
Okay.
that much. I think
Yeah.
they're Annapolis-based or Baltimore.
Yeah.
So that's Bikes. That's Ricole and Moss French.
Yes. What was that date
AKA
again?
Eric French. June 18th.
June 18th.
Saturday, June 18th. If we have, it'll probably start or be doors at 7. Then June 25th is the first of 3 of a little mini series with Frederick Jazz Festival, and they have not given me their roster yet. But
so this is the Frederick Jazz Festival, but sort of condensed or spread over 3 weeks.
No, they just did like a one-day thing at the Weinberg last year.
Okay.
I think the year before, or maybe 2 years before the pandemic, they did on the creek.
Yeah.
But that was nerve-wracking because of weather. They don't want to risk that again, and it's nerve-wracking at SkyStage too. But we will possibly move those into the art center, and then I have actually on hold a 4th date for them in September, just in case We need a rain date. So after August 27th, they do fourth Saturdays, June, July, August.
Okay.
So after August 27th, if they haven't used a rain date, then September 24th opens up for whatever we can fit in there fast.
There you go, bands. You heard it here first.
You know, bands have a lot more, with all the breweries and everything, they're getting a little harder to find availability. In the pandemic, it was like, yes, please, we need an opportunity to perform.
Yeah.
But now they're busy.
Yeah.
So
and
it's hard to book last minute.
Yes, and hard to book last minute, and also hard to book smart. And I know Colin and I have differing philosophies about this, but you shouldn't want to play a SkyStage for a $10 show, and then the next week you're playing a free show, because then people won't come out to SkyStage. So you want to kind of plan things out and keep some distance, or you can just book every show whenever you want.
I think you should play as much as you can. That's my philosophy. So
No.
go book as much as you can. Don't listen to these people bands.
Yeah, don't listen to Colin. He's the worst. So that got us through almost end of June.
So that's pretty much it.
Man.
That's pretty much it for June. Of course, there's Fame and
The Drum Circle.
I'm trying to see if there's other music. Well, there might be an acoustic showcase with the Rock School.
Look at that.
On a Sunday in June.
So
yeah, we're going to try and fit that in.
So there's a couple secrets that haven't been announced. There's a couple things that might change. Where can people get the definitive source of where the stuff is? Because obviously people are interested. The shows are great. I mean, I'm going to be at least at the bike show, maybe just to see Ricole, but I mean, we'll see. But I'll be at Bikes. I think you're going to go to...
Which one am I going to go to?
I think you're going to go to the first one.
I think I'm going to go to all of them. That's what
Yeah,
I'm
Colin's going to go to all of them. So make sure you see him and make sure you talk to them a long time about
yes.
Celtics basketball.
Yeah.
But for people that were listening and then like they got a call or something came out of their microwave, like if they want to remember where stuff is, where can people look up the schedule on the internet?
Yeah, the one I keep the most up to date, skystagefrederick.com. Go to the menu, click on calendar.
Awesome.
It goes there first, and then it goes into the Frederick Arts Council calendar, and visit Frederick and stuff like that.
Sure.
But those are mixed in with other people's events. So,
Yes.
And there'll be a lot more to look after this episode airs. You're going to have a lot more through the summer to post, I would assume.
Yeah, I mean, I can give you a lot more of the music concerts if you want to hear more beyond June.
Give us some highlights, yeah.
Highlights?
Yeah.
July 2nd, you'll want to see Suniva with Pom Poms.
There we go.
Pom-poms.
Suniva also, it was a
As a
COVID
guest.
cancellation last year. So glad Daniel's doing better.
Yes,
And
great.
he produced amazing stuff over the pandemic, so I'm really looking forward to that. July 16th, Michelle Hannon and One Blue Night
There we go.
with Shannon Bielski, who she drew in. One of the best things is to ask the bands, who's somebody that you think would be good to open for you, if you don't have anybody on the list. And she's kind of a bluegrass, honky-tonk country
From here?
folk. Where is she from? Silver Spring, I want to say.
Okay.
Montgomery County, I think. And then another jazz. August 6th is Lunch Weather with Ethan Larsh
There
and
we go.
possibly one other. Then there's a date that maybe Could Be Better could have.
Oh, boy.
Exclusive.
We're avoiding September 10th because that's in the street.
Oh, yes.
That's a Saturday.
Yes.
Didn't they change it to streets? In the streets?
In the streets. What did I say?
In the street.
What did I say? I'm
But it
veering
used to
away
be
from my
streets,
mic,
right?
sorry.
It used to be
It's
street.
streets.
But now it's more than
and
one
it's
street.
up the creek
Because
that's where
everybody-
the music is on the amphitheater
Yeah,
there, and it's
yeah.
right behind SkyStage, so there's a little bit of a noise interference, and
Jeez.
it's a little zooey. So
Frederick, isn't anything sacred anymore? In the street?
if you come to the Maryland Craft Beer Festival, just hop on over and hear some of those Rock School kids.
Yeah.
There you go.
Give them your support.
Or your beer.
Yeah.
Definitely not their
No.
beer, Colin. They're kids.
Oh, wrong.
We do
Thing.
have beer bar for the parents.
Yes, there we go. That's what you meant. That's what you
and
meant. We don't
then,
want to get sued.
Yeah, then the Seven Arts is trying to put together a reggae night, and
If you need an opener, their co-host of this podcast
Double
is
or
actually
Nothing.
Double or Nothing. Is he is the
did it.
drummer
Yeah.
of a reggae band. He's more than happy to reggae it
oh
up.
yes,
That's right. We could play that if you
yeah.
like.
Yeah.
I'll tell Don.
There it is.
Because
You're welcome.
somebody was trying to get Jaw Works. We can't afford them.
We didn't even take money at Old Mother, so we'll play for free.
Okay.
I gave
you
you.
go.
I did not give you.
I was thinking of that. I'll pass that along. I will pass that along. because it's been a long time since we had reggae. We had Secondhand Reggae Band from Hagerstown like years ago.
And they have a new guitar player. And sorry, Colin, I know you hate this, but like their new guitar player is amazing.
Yeah, our new guitar player is amazing. There you go.
So and actually, Fame is doing like 4 acoustic concerts from their members too. Apart from their open mic series, they're doing like 4 nights. And I don't have all those lineups yet. A couple of them are set, and a couple of them are on Fridays, and a couple of them are on Saturdays. And then October 8th is Pompeii Graffiti, and someone else.
Yes, secrets.
Well, one of those dates that you talked about that we are all excited about, of course, is Capitalized Bikes with Eric French and Ricole, who doesn't know how to play video games. We're gonna hear a song from them, I believe, is the final song to play us out. Do you know the name of it?
It's called Dropped It All.
Dropped It All. And
unless he sent a different one.
they recorded it 2 days ago as of this recording, from what we understand.
Yes, this is so poppin' fresh, and you heard it first here on the Could Be Better podcast.
Exclusive.
Do you want me to tell artists where they can submit, or do you want
Yes.
Yeah,
So I need to know where people can find SkyStage. How can they play SkyStage, and what do you want when people want to play SkyStage? You can just give us a little sales pitch at the end, and then we'll go into this last song.
Yes. They reach out to us in lots of different ways. But if you go to skystagefrederick.com, the website, and click the menu, and there's one that says your programming ideas, submissions, requests, and everything. And that goes to a page with a word that says, please fill out this form. And that links to a form that you fill out. And what we like to see from bands is, I think I added a field in there to say, please tell us, if your band, what your genre is, what kind of music you play. And then there is a field where they can put in a link or a file. And I appreciate it if it's not a video of you playing in a bar done on somebody's phone from YouTube.
Yes.
Because we can't really hear how good you are in a bar like that, So if you have some, but a lot of them have like Bandcamp links and stuff like that now. So that's helpful. But it is good to have a sample of live too, because, on Bandcamp sometimes they have backing players and stuff that they're not going to have. So.
All right.
Yeah, that would be the best way.
Cool. Okay. Awesome. Maura, thank you so much for coming on. This has been a treat.
Thanks for having me.
I am grateful for all that you've done in Frederick and all that you're doing in Frederick. Thank you for doing SkyStage. Thank you for programming it. Thank you for making it. Thank you for the part that you get to play and making it cool. So very grateful for you. And now we're going to play a song by friend of the podcast, friend of the show, Bikes.
A family that jams together, more the better for love. Shows that the whole set be fire. We keep it thorough. If I compare yo band made of mine, I say yo small time, no grind. We do it big.
Dropped it all, hugged the coast. I hugged the coast I knew the most. In the fall the markets crow. Like everyone, how you living? Life isn't given. I'm watching 10 friends live out they Mike Tyson, Robin Givens. For instance, they always riffing. The family's feuding, they out loop, man. Steve Harvey, gotta get him. How about some real friends that's producing positive vibes, cut loose ends. Take my 2 cents and save your life. Love your wife, but call her Spike, cause she hate me. My advice was leave her daily, not to type. As I write, just out of spite, I might name drop her. Give a fame watcher, get tagged tonight. From the Carver apartments to the mic, out the mall speaking French, it be us on them bikes. If you ride handlebars like I'm giving the night. If you crash, it was cause you was sleeping good night. Individuals, who remembers now? Far beautiful and Agnes, that's right. Time goes on and on. By Saturday we'll be gone. In the fall the markets stall. Like all of us, yeah, la la la. Along the coast driving, the state that I'm in is one of growth and taste. On 95, see the Merlin plates. Crabs I escape, can't hold me down, did a puffin' mace. The girl I love, she's in the pub by 8. Should be toasting on the ocean, send the text, can't wait. I remember November, round 08. Bank account was starting out, now that I break. Can't afford to treat my lady to these ocean views, thanks. We should ride jet skis, the vibe so SB. Simply we collecting chips, oh yes please. I'll have a side of that, more bread and blue cheese. What I'm putting on, she loves to witness. Touching on me before my sentence is ended. Bike so distinguished in plain English. With your language, you really gotta sync with your playlist. Whoa.
So I dropped it all, hugged the coast. I hugged the coast I knew the most. In the fall the markets grow. Like everyone, la la la. Time goes on and on. By Saturday we'll be gone. In the fall the markets stall. Like all of us, yeah, la la la.
The Could Be Better podcast is produced by Chris Perry and Colin McGuire from the Could Be Better Studios in Frederick, Maryland.
Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at couldbebettermeh.
You could also email us at couldbebettermeh@gmail.com. And don't be afraid to reach out if you're an artist, a band, anybody looking for a show. We'd love to book you. Also, if you'd happen to want to be a sponsor, we'd like to hear from you too.
Subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts or follow us on Spotify or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Give us a 5-star review if you like what you hear and want to hear more. And also give us a 5-star review if you don't like what you hear and definitely don't want to hear more.
His name is Chris Perry.
This is Colin McGuire.
And we are out of time. For now, this could be better.